Ace.
See ya.
So I think we should activate hand gestures one more time just in memory of Ron DeSantis' campaign.
Activate hand gesture.
Say goodbye to that hotkey. It was fun while it lasted.
So sad.
It was fun while it lasted.
See you again in 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seriously. This is what he's going to do. He'll be back in 28. I don't really have a lot of mean things to say about Ron. Never have. So.
Yeah, never have.
Never have.
Never criticized him too harshly.
I am actually, I'm cool with this. It should have happened a long time ago. He should have never won. I mean, he should have never run. He didn't win anything. Got second place in Iowa. That was pretty cool.
Woo.
Silver medal.
Yeah.
He got the participation trophy. But I think that there was a point in his campaign where he knew it was over, and it happened Friday with Neil Cavuto. A lot of people missed this, so I'm bringing it to you. I'm on record saying I think it was Neil Cavuto that ended DeSantis' campaign. Want to give me some audio? I know the Chiefs won.
You're up. It's not me.
Oh, all right.
Monday.
Fair enough, man. Well, and Dan wasn't in here before me.
That's fair.
So all the buttons haven't been pushed. All right, here we go. Neil Cavuto.
I can tell you this, though. If you look at Iowa, we did it right. I mean, we got the endorsement of the governor. We won the debates, the Miami debate, the Newsom debate, the News Nation debate, the CNN debate. We did televised town halls, got great response.
But
we
you
went
didn't,
to all
you didn't win a
99
single
counties.
county, right? I mean, in 99 counties, you didn't win a single
Well,
one. You
here's the
visited them
thing.
all, to your credit, but you didn't win a single one.
And I think that was the moment that DeSantis was broken. To your credit, you visited them all.
To your credit, but you didn't win a single one.
But you didn't win a single one. And it broke DeSantis.
But I also had, how many people would have been able to handle $50 million in ads? How many people would have been able to handle all the headwinds we did? I mean, we had a very uphill battle. We dug in and we executed and we did run hard. We did do well. And what we got was traditionally what is considered good in a caucus. Nobody's gotten 50% before. This is something where you have a de facto incumbent president. So we're proud of the effort that we did there. I think we did it right. It was a challenge. I mean, we're facing challenging circumstances, but you got to play the hand you're dealt.
Got to play the hand you're dealt. He said it was a challenge, but he thinks we did it right. It's funny, though. A lot of people on the DeSantis team disagree with his, breakdown that they did it right. They worked hard. There's a weird DeSantis story going around.
Well, look, over the course of covering this campaign, there are many stories that kind of explain why he failed to really get off the ground in the way that a lot of people expected him to. But one of those stories came to us in the final days of the Iowa caucus, and it has to do with a puzzle.
A puzzle, not like a mystery, but an actual jigsaw puzzle. The DeSantis campaign. All right, you hooked? They found a story at the end of Iowa about the DeSantis campaign, and it had to do with a jigsaw puzzle. Everybody paying attention?
There.
You got it?
Now,
Ready.
stay with me here. Multiple staffers from the headquarters of the DeSantis Iowa operation, their field operation run by Never Back Down, reached out to me and my producer, Abby Brooks, and said that the CEO and chairman of that organization was spending a significant amount of time in those final critical days working on a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle.
That's what you're doing. You're not knocking on doors. You're working on a puzzle. Critical hours spent. Did some Googling. Average of time on a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, 5 to 12 hours. Right around 9 hours. You're spending hours of time during a presidential campaign when you're trying to win Iowa on a jigsaw puzzle. That's not a good recipe for success. I don't know if that's working as hard as you can work. And they say it threw the whole staff off. It threw everybody off. They were frustrated by this.
Now, Some of those staffers were so confused and found it so absurd that one of them actually took a photo of it and shared it with us. And the frustration was described to me from one of them, saying that, look, staffers are putting their dedication and devotion to electing Governor DeSantis, and they come in and the CEO and chairman of the organization is sitting there working on a puzzle for hours. Now, in a comment to NBC News, Scott Wagner, the gentleman in the picture there, tells us that it was an office puzzle. He said that it was there when they arrived and became a sense of pride for team members, and everyone chipped in a few minutes to get it done, and noted his pride of the team.
No word on if they finished the puzzle. And I would have to go on record. I think that may be the only thing the DeSantis campaign would be proud of after this disastrous presidential run. But we're welcoming Ron back into the fold. Welcome back. Ron is a good governor. He's definitely going to be important in the run up to the presidential race in November. And I would just want to be one of the first ones to say, welcome back, Ron. We missed you and your fancy shoes. Now, I'll welcome him back, but DeSantis influencers, they've been melting down on the internet. The DeSantis influencers, the ones with the little gator icon in their profile. Remember I said last week, I think it was, we're going to see the disappearance of the gator emoji in these profiles.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yep, called it. And they've already started to take them out. But they're not happy. Jenna Ellis said, it's Governor Ron DeSantis now, is it? No more Rob DeSanctimonious? We're all just supposed to forget? They think so. I don't. The audacity here to use the line, it's time to choose wisely. What are you so upset about? Your guy lost. I thought it was actually pretty nice of Trump to say that the Ron DeSanctimonious nickname is retired.
Will I be using the name Ron DeSanctimonious? I said that name is officially retired.
Other DeSantis influencers were not taking this very nicely. Rob Salvador said, we're not uniting behind Trump. Okay. Chris Nelson says, F you, Trump. Hashtag never unite. Chris Nelson also goes on to say now he's fully backing RFK Jr. He's an RFK bro now. Which really points out the fact that these people were never for DeSantis. They were only against Trump. Another DeSantis influencer, Megan Maureen, said, I will not vote for Trump. I will not vote for Biden. I do not like green eggs and ham. Something like that. Pedro Gonzalez, he was upset. The people who spent the primary doxing DeSantis supporters, attacking our wives, kids, parents, trying to get us fired and make us unemployable, want to pretend none of that ever happened. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Did I miss something? Were DeSantis supporters having their wives attacked and their kids attacked? I don't recall that at all. And if that happens to be the case, prove me wrong, and I would denounce that. But I don't recall it at all. Steve Deese, who is a big DeSantis bro, said, excellent and classy closing message. I wouldn't expect anything less by such fine people as Ron DeSantis. A sad day for America. I'm struck by the fear that we made the same mistake the currently ascendant generation has consistently made time and time again, and puts us closer than ever to losing this once exceptional country. And this time, it was to bypass the most successful Republican politician so far this century, right when we needed somebody as ruthlessly efficient as DeSantis has proven to be. Ruthlessly efficient. His campaign was working on a puzzle during the final days of Iowa. Is that ruthlessly efficient? Did they finish the puzzle? Steve Deese continues, but alas, we reap what we sow. 289 days from now, I sincerely hope I am savaged by those saying I told you so, because we won a must-win election. And Trump found a way to both reinvent himself to must-win suburban voters who have rejected both him and his brand repeatedly. You got your way. Good luck. Listen, I do think that we need Trump in the office. And I think we need Trump in the office because he's going to do the hard things. We need Trump because this job is going to be difficult, not easy, and he's not going to have his eye to a second term. When you have Ron DeSantis going in there, let's dream this out. If Ron DeSantis won the presidency, do you think that he would be willing to deal with the optics of children crying during a mass deportation event? Do you think that that would help him win re-election in a second term? Of course not. And that's exactly why we needed Trump. Trump is the only guy that's going to go in there and do what needs to be done because it's hard, not because it's easy, and optics be damned because there's nothing that he needs to worry about moving forward other than making the right decisions for the country. Period. Ron DeSantis can't say that. Nikki Haley definitely won't say that. And now we have Trump, Haley, New Hampshire, tomorrow. Are you excited? Can you feel the energy building? I'm excited. I'm pretty happy. This was predetermined. We knew this was going to be the outcome. Even DeSantis bros knew this was going to be the outcome. We all knew this was going to be the outcome. And you know what? Welcome back, Ron. Welcome back, DeSantis bros. I know you guys are going to be in the fight with us, and I'm welcoming you back the same way Trump has welcomed back Ron DeSantis.
Before we begin, I'd like to take time to congratulate Ron DeSantis and, of course, a really terrific person who I've gotten to know, his wife, Casey, for having run a great campaign for president. He did. He ran a really good campaign, I will tell you. It's not easy. They think it's easy doing this stuff, right? It's not easy. But as you know, he left the campaign trail today at 3 p.m., and in so doing, he was very gracious, and he endorsed me, so I appreciate it. I appreciate that, and I also look forward to working with Ron and everybody else to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We will have to get him out. We have to get him out. He's put our country at great peril.
That was Trump in New Hampshire yesterday, and he took little time after congratulating Ron to take a swipe at Nikki Haley.
The radical left Democrats are supporting Nikki for a very simple reason, because they know she's easy to beat. They came out with a poll 2 days ago where she's way down to Biden, and I'm way up on Biden, and that's the way it is. She's unelectable.
Unelectable. Do you agree? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Ron, hang on the line. I'll get to your call next. We'll take your calls, your reaction to DeSantis dropping out. Plus, what was Nikki Haley's reaction to all of this? Well, we have it for you on the way. It is 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. If you don't have a plan for your financial future, don't worry. It is so easy to get that plan on track with Paul and his team at Paul Winkler, Inc. Now, full disclosure, my wife and I, we didn't have a plan for our future, but we have 4 kids, and we knew we needed one. Thinking about paying for college possibly, weddings down the road, retirement, all of these goals that we have, how do we achieve them? We didn't know. But we know now since we linked up with Paul and his team. Paul and his team hold themselves to a higher level of fiduciary standard than is required. Because of that, I got to tell you, I'm paid every time this commercial airs. That's the truth. But I decided to become a client of Paul's when I got to sit down with him, break bread, and have my questions answered honestly and in a way that I could understand that I was sold. Plus, Paul's team, they don't do anything on commission. So you know when they're helping you make decisions for your financial future, it is for your financial future and not theirs, because nothing is done on commission. They are big on education, though, and the investment education they provide is backed by Nobel Prize winning research. So if you don't have a plan, you should check these guys out. Every single office of Paul's is run by a degreed planner with over 20 years of experience, and that experience is the difference. They will make you confident in your plan for your financial future. So do what I did. Talk to one of his team members today. Set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com, or call 615-851-1950.
Well, the big thaw might mean new problems in Middle Tennessee. We'll tell you about it at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Got a text here from our friend, Pastor Patrick. He says, I'm a 30-year-old moderate Republican evangelical minister. What is Trump going to do to get the voters' independence? I think he meant independent voters. Just talk to text. He goes, as it stands right now, I won't vote for the man, but I would vote for Nikki Haley. Interesting take. I replied, if you want more war and open borders, Nikki's definitely the route. If you want a candidate that doesn't embrace publicly Jesus as the Lord, go for Nikki. If you don't think what Trump did in the fight against abortion isn't the biggest wins we've seen in decades, I am not sure how I can convince you. But Pastor Pat, if you're listening, I'd love to have the conversation with you on air. You're welcome to call in at 615-737-9986. He responded, he said, not sure I agree with the generalities, but that still doesn't answer the question. There's a large portion of people, independents, that won't vote for Trump. What can he do to win us over? I don't. If you haven't been won over yet, I'm not sure we can win you over. If you don't think Trump was doing great with the economy, if you don't think that no new wars was a good thing, if you don't think a secure southern border was a good thing, I don't know how to win you over, Pastor Pat. But on the flip side, you'd vote for Nikki Haley, who is being funded by big-time Democrat donors like Reid Hoffman, who visits Jeffrey Epstein's pedo island. That's who's backing her. Nikki Haley, the same woman who said just a week ago that America's never been a racist country, but now she's playing the race card. This is Nikki Haley.
We were the only Indian family in our small southern town. I was teased every day for being brown.
That's Nikki Haley now. I mean, she flip-flops on every single thing. If you think that you can trust Nikki Haley, I don't know what to tell you. I have more audio from Nikki Haley on the way, Pastor Pat, and we'll discuss. Hang out with us. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
"9:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. The big thaw expected to start today, but that could mean more problems, says Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac, monitoring the number of water main issues Metro Water Services is juggling right now.
They say that they are expecting to see even more water main breaks happen this week as the temperatures rise and things start to thaw out and things start to move underground here.
Metro Water Services says it has a map online which you can access for service issues. Election 2024 right now in New Hampshire.
Can you hear that sound? That's the sound of a two-person race.
That's Nikki Haley still trailing by double digits to former President Donald Trump, whom Florida Governor Ron DeSantis endorsed right after he dropped out of the race yesterday. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Trump is not a candidate. Trump is the leader of a nationwide movement to take power back from the establishment. MAGA. This is far more than a campaign, what we have. This is the greatest political movement in the history of our country, maybe in the history of any country. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. And that's why every time he's attacked by the judiciary, every time he's attacked by the news media, he gets stronger because people go, yep, that's what I thought. That's exactly what those corrupt people will do.
You know, Donald Trump is what Americans love. Donald Trump is what Americans aspire to be. That's kind of been like the American dream. He looks like a boss to everybody, and Americans love to have a boss. So
9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. It's a two-person race, right? I guess. Allegedly. It depends on who you ask. You ask Nikki Haley, it's a two-person race. Yes, Joe Biden is a two-person race also. You ask Donald Trump, he's way out in front. So it all depends on who you ask. I've been texting with Pastor Pat, and a lot of people commenting on those texts I received from him. You know, as a 30-year-old moderate Republican evangelical minister, what is Trump going to do to get the independent voters? He said he won't vote for Trump, but he would vote for Nikki Haley. It's interesting. Quite the take. I've asked Pastor Pat to call in, and I said, listen, and if you're listening, Pastor Pat, not aiming for a gotcha or anything other than good dialogue, but I'd love to have this convo with you. I'd love to have the convo with you if you want to have it. 615-737-9986. Phone lines are open. You know, a lot of the people on the Super Text line are weighing in on this too, Pastor Pat, and bringing up good points. Lots of good points. What about the fact that Trump moved the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem? It's a good one. It's a good point. Roe v. Wade being overturned. Lots of good points. Another super texter brought up the fact that, a lot of Christians bring up the fact that Trump has a checkered past. There's a lot of people in the Bible with a checkered past that God gave the okay to do something great. And I'll point out the fact that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Nikki Haley, on the other hand, supports child mutilation. She thinks that that's about the mother and father's decision. So I don't know how you support that. I don't know how you support somebody that wants to have more wars. Nikki Haley will tell you, though, that it's a two-person race. That's what she said.
He ran a great race. He's been a good governor, and we wish him well. Having said that, it's now one fella and one lady left.
Nikki Haley, her crowd is so large you can hear a crying baby without a microphone over her with a microphone.
So there were 14 people in this race. There were a lot of fellas. All the fellas are out, except for this one. And this comes down to, what do you want? Do you want more of the same, or do you want something new?
Do you want more of the same, or do you want something new? I would argue that it's not going to be something new if you were to have Nikki Haley as the Republican nominee. I feel like we would have seen that movie before, a la Mitt Romney, a la John McCain. But we've seen that movie before. But Nikki Haley, she's playing the race card. She's playing the gender card. I hear people saying, like Judge Judy, it's her turn, a la Hillary Clinton. But this is where we're at. CNN asked her if she would support Donald Trump if he was the nominee.
Ron DeSantis is saying that he is sticking by his pledge, which is why, and he believes that Donald Trump will be the nominee. You made a pledge a long time ago, before the Republican National Committee debates even started, to support the nominee. Do you still feel that way? Are you still going to support? I mean, it's you and Donald Trump. So if it's not you, I know you hope it will be, and you're working so that it is. But if it's not, if it's Donald Trump, will you support him as the nominee still?
It's going to be me. And I know y'all want to talk about it like it's still him. 70% of Americans don't want to see a Trump-Biden rematch. But even look at that. 56,000 people voted in Iowa. Less than 2% voted in one state. We're not going to let that decide what happens in the country.
I feel like that's the most awkward talking point for Nikki Haley. Oh, it was low voter turnout in Iowa. That's what happened. Low voter turnout. You still got less of the low voter turnout. Your voters were still not motivated to show up for you. The low voter turnout argument is a meme. It's a cope. Nobody is supporting Nikki Haley in Iowa. And if they were, they would have shown up for her. So she copes. She's got the copium hooked up. And she's trying to meme herself into relevancy.
We've got New Hampshire. We've got South Carolina. We've got Super Tuesday. We're going to keep on going. And we're going to fight and we're going to win. I'm used to people underestimating me. It's always fun.
That's like the new line. That's her Kamala Harris unburdened by what has been. I'm used to people underestimating me. It's always fun. Simon, who's on Briley Parkway right now, he's got a comment on Trump. What's up, Simon?
Hi, how are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
I think that Trump started the economy going. It was great, and then he balked, and that was the problem.
What was it? He what?
He balked. He encouraged the economy. He deregulated a lot of things, and the cruise ships was one of the symptoms. We got the diseases, but he should have let the whole thing run its course instead of shutting down interstate traffic and all of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think part of that was the uncertainty at the time. I agree with you that we should have just let it run its course. And if people think I don't ever and I appreciate your call, Simon. If people think I don't criticize Trump, the stimulus checks that started under him, that was a bad idea. We're still paying for it. The way COVID was handled, the lockdowns, giving all the authority to Fauci, that was terrible. But the fact remains, who's better for the job right now? Who's going to do what needs to be done without having an eye towards being reelected? There's no other person for the job. And if you think Nikki Haley's going to do a better job, I mean, I have a feeling you're in a minority. But Nikki Haley, she was asked, does she really think Trump and Biden are equally bad for America?
You just did it again, and we've heard you over and over in recent weeks on the campaign trail, lumping Donald Trump and Joe Biden together. Do you believe that they are equally bad for America?
It's not even what I believe, it's what Americans believe.
This is where she's at. Do you think that Trump and Biden are equally bad for America? Because that's what Nikki Haley's inferring. 615-737-9986. You know, good on the CNN reporter. She pushed her on this. She goes, well, what do you believe? We want to know what you believe.
What do you believe? Because you're the one who's saying that.
I worry about the fact that they are so focused on investigations and things that they don't like and focused on the past. When do you ever hear either one of them talk about the solutions of the future?
Trump talks about the future all the time. He talks about a mass deportation plan. He talks about securing the border. He talks about ending the war in Ukraine. He talks about leading through strength. Like, I don't understand this talking point. When does Trump talk about the future? He's too focused on the past. All the indictments that the weaponized DOJ under Biden have brought against him. Oh, the indictments. Is this who you think is going to be the Republican nominee?
I'm doing this because I don't want my kids to live like this. We have got to start looking forward. You've got a country in disarray. You've got a world on fire, and you're going to focus on people who hurt your feelings?
I feel like she has her feelings hurt, and Trump has hurt her feelings, and she's backed by these donors who are telling her that she's the woman for the job. She's stuck in her own feelings here.
You're going to focus on investigations that are involved with your families. You're going to focus on vengeance. With me, it's no drama. It's no vendettas. It's just hard work. And it's making sure we're not thinking 4 and 8 years. We're thinking 20 and 30 years out. That's what it should be. And we've lost that. We lost that a long time ago. But we can get it back. And I'm going to prove every day to every American that they made the right decision when I get elected.
I will agree with the point that we need to get back to thinking long term. I agree with that. I just fear that the way Nikki Haley would think long term is foreign entanglements and the military industrial complex. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that that's her long term thinking. I don't think her long term thinking is really going to benefit the average American on the street.
You don't want to go there on whether or not they're equally bad?
I mean, if either one of them was good, I wouldn't be running.
Oh, okay. So Trump did nothing good. The guy that hired you did nothing good. Okay, all right. Ice cold take, but okay.
Yes, they are equally bad. That's why I'm running. It's because I don't think we need to have Biden or Trump. I don't think we need to have two 80-year-olds sitting in the White House when we've basically got to make sure that we can handle the war situation that we're in.
There it is. There it is. It's the war situation.
That we can handle the war situation that we're in.
It's always about war with Nikki Haley. That's what this is about. She's propped up by the military-industrial complex. She's propped up by big-time Democrat donors. She is a neocon war hawk.
We need to know they're at the top of their game. We need to know that they can take care of our national security and our economy. Right now, I don't know that people feel like that with either one, so that's why we're giving them a choice.
Trump did take care of the national security and the economy. He did that. She's blaming Trump for what's happened under Biden. This is Nikki Haley. And I'm sorry, she says Trump doesn't have a plan for the future. He doesn't tell anybody his plan for the future. Oh, let's see what Trump had to say about his plans for the future in New Hampshire over the weekend, talking about plans for the future.
As soon as I lift my hand from the Bible as your 47th president, I will seal the border, shut down the invasion of millions and millions of people coming into our country, and we will start an energy revolution. We have more than anybody else. We're going to resume that drilling. What they've done, look, what they've done to this country is not even believable, what they've done, especially when you look at the border. Things like Afghanistan, it was a surrender. That was a pure surrender. Horrible. I believe the lowest moment in the history. But what they've done to this country in so many ways, we're no longer respected. We have a man that can't put two sentences together, and he's negotiating with President Xi of China, with Putin. He's negotiating. Our country has never been in this danger, I'll tell you right now. And I'm talking about World War III type danger. We have never, ever had a situation like this.
And you want to put Nikki Haley in control of that? Is that what you think?
And the only reason the stock market's high because they think we're going to win the election. That's the only reason. Because that will come crashing down if we don't. We will terminate every diversity, equity, and inclusion program across the entire federal government. And I will instruct the heads of ICE and Border Patrol to begin the largest deportation program in American history because it's not sustainable.
I mean, there's plans for the future right there. They never talk about the plans for the future, says Nikki Haley. Will someone please think of the future? All right. So there it is. Talking about it over the weekend in New Hampshire. And to a much larger crowd than you can draw in New Hampshire. Mind you. Weird. 9:51. It's Super Talk. 99.7 WTN.
Metro Nashville working on new problems now that Middle Tennessee has started to thaw out. Former President Trump's mental acuity is coming under fire. And the Biden campaign releasing a new TV ad today. All of this and more at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We've been talking about Trump, Haley, Ron. I'm kind of sad that we won't be able to activate hand gestures anymore.
Oh, I know, man.
Activate hand gesture.
But I am happy that Ron is back in the fold. Trump has been busy. Tons of endorsements coming over the weekend. Yeah, I mean, Tim Scott was on CNN. Doug Burgum was on ABC. Sarah Huckabee Sanders on CBS. They were all over the place. All over the place. Nikki Haley got some heavy hitters too. She did.
Who's that?
Judge Judy.
I'm not here necessarily to bash the competition, although I'm perfectly capable of doing that. Suffice it to say,
Hear that in the background? Send Trump to prison. This is the crowd that supports Nikki Haley. Send Trump to prison. Does anybody believe that these indictments are real? Via this weaponized DOJ. This is Nikki Haley. She's bringing out Judge Judy. She's playing the race card. She's saying it's my turn. She's a neocon. And everybody knows that Trump is going to win this battle. I got a super text that said from our friend Jim, 2028, I heard Haley talking on Fox News this morning. She was already talking about South Carolina being the state that she's going to win. She's already given up on New Hampshire. I feel like they gave up on New Hampshire months ago. Months ago. They're saying, if Nikki doesn't win New Hampshire, it's going to be because of low voter turnout. Oh, Nikki only got third place in Iowa because of low voter turnout. I have a feeling that low voter turnout for Nikki Haley is going to be a reoccurring thread, It's going to be something that she has to deal with over and over again. And they can keep swinging at Trump. They can, but it's not going to stop him.
3 years later, President Trump, they're all coming back and endorsing him. They're all going to come. Even in Davos, Jamie Dimon is kissing his butt. All this. So what's transpired in the 3 years? The resistance to President Trump is now the fiercest against any president in the history of this republic, or any candidate in the history of this republic. In 3 years, they thought he was leaving a broken man. He was far from broken. You cannot break Donald Trump.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've finally gone above freezing here on Music Row. I've got 33 degrees under a mostly sunny sky. Full forecast in 2 minutes. We're going to thaw out, but that could mean potential new problems. Talking about water main breaks, they could increase as temperatures rise. Meanwhile, Metro's Department of Transportation asking you to remain patient now that ice and snow removal has finally focused on neighborhoods.
This is a longer event than we typically experience. I mean, I want to say we were ready for this. We've been prepared. The staff's been trained. It's been a success. I just need everybody to be patient.
And the death toll from the winter storm in Tennessee has grown to 27 weather-related fatalities. Election 2024, former President Trump has a 2-digit lead over Nikki Haley in the run-up to the New Hampshire Republican primary tomorrow. Here's Melissa Adon in Manchester.
Former Ambassador Nikki Haley questioning if Trump is mentally fit to serve after the former president appeared to confuse her with former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
When you're dealing with the pressures of a presidency, we can't have someone else that we question whether they're mentally fit to do this.
Haley heading into tomorrow's primary, facing a double-digit deficit with 50% of likely Republican primary voters supporting Trump.
Meanwhile, the Biden campaign releasing a new TV ad that slams the former president on abortion rights.
At a routine ultrasound, I learned that the fetus would have a fatal condition and that there was absolutely no chance of survival.
That ad set to premiere during the season premiere of ABC's The Bachelor Monday night. That as the Biden campaign says they're targeting suburban women and young voters. That ad will also air on cable and during the NFL Conference Championships next Sunday. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We've been talking about Trump, Nikki Haley, Ron. I appreciate you guys on the Super Text line. 615-737-9986. I appreciate our friend Aaron on the text line warning us about the trolls in the YouTube chat. The YouTube chat is the wild, wild west.
Oh, yeah.
So
never know what you're going to find.
You never know what's going to happen there. But we laugh about it behind the scenes.
Yes, for sure.
People are nuts. If you want to know what that chat's like, you can go to Super Talk TV on YouTube. It's
right there.
People say like, "Oh, you should block that guy." I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, well, all right,
whatever.
Who cares?
He's having a good time.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself. We appreciate the views. You know what I mean? Everybody,
exactly.
It counts as views. Keep that TSL up. You know what I mean? Time spent listening. So, as we continue, I do have more audio out of Nikki Haley. Did you see Nikki Haley was out meeting voters in New Hampshire? She was. She was shaking hands, meeting people, and getting absolutely roasted on the streets of New Hampshire. Probably unsurprising to a lot of people. She was getting roasted. This is Nikki Haley meeting the people of New Hampshire. And I had a super texter a minute ago say, excuse me, that, what they're going to try and rig the primary against Trump. So they're already trying in New Hampshire. Dems can vote in the Republican primary. So, yeah, it's not, this is what they do. But anyway, this is Nikki Haley, gauging the enthusiasm that she has in New Hampshire, meeting the people in the streets.
Good to see you. Nice
to see you, Dean. Oh, I love that. We're going to get out and vote on Tuesday. It's important. Good stuff.
Can I ask you just like a tiny question?
Yeah.
Do you think it's responsible for politicians to spend like $100 million in Iowa on TV ads, which go to mainly news stations that have lied to us for years, when there's homeless veterans out there that could use that money? Oof. When you didn't even come close to beating Trump, and you spent like $100 million in TV ad money?
Yikes.
Do you know my husband's a veteran?
That's fine. But
She says, do you know my husband's a veteran? I don't know what that has to do with the question, ma'am. Also, bad timing to bring up your husband.
Yeah, maybe not now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've been following the stories. I'm not digging in on this one too much, but the Daily Mail reported that they have evidence that Nikki Haley cheated on her husband twice. It's probably not the best time to bring up your husband. And I don't know what that has to do with the question at hand and the homeless veterans that we have in the country. Like, oh, your husband's a veteran. Is he homeless? Oh, okay. Speaking of the Daily Mail and their reporting on Nikki Haley and her alleged infidelity, the Haley campaign has banned the Daily Mail from all future campaign events.
Wow.
Yeah. And the Daily Mail put out a statement that said, only dictators ban the press.
Whew.
Only dictators. And it got me thinking, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't recall Trump banning anybody from his campaign events. Has he banned any press outlets from his campaign events? I know CNN still shows up. I know MSNBC still shows up. I can't recall. Maybe I'm wrong. And I'd be willing to admit I'm wrong if new information comes to light. But I don't think there's an occasion where Trump has banned anybody from campaign events. So I found that interesting. But it's an interesting time to bring up to this voter, her husband, when he absolutely roasts her.
$100 million in Iowa on TV ads, which go to mainly news stations that have lied to us for years, when there's homeless veterans out there that could use that money, when you didn't even come close to beating Trump, and you spent like $100 million in TV ad money.
Do you know my husband's a veteran?
That's fine, but I'm
He's
just
a combat
saying.
veteran?
I'm
And do you know
asking
that when the media doesn't tell the truth, the whole reason you put commercials on is to tell the truth because
Yeah,
the
but
media doesn't?
My point is, you're not going to be Trump.
You know
All
what?
of the money you're wasting could go to better causes.
I appreciate
that would make
that.
the Republican Party actually.
You know what? Last I saw it was a democracy. So we're going to keep working for a good democracy. We're going to work for freedom. But thank you for your service.
Oh, last I heard, it's a democracy. More Democrat talking points from Nikki Haley. We have to save our democracy. We have to save our democracy. People have said, 0727 said that Trump did ban one CNN reporter. So, but has he banned full outlets? You said you had a story?
Something from The Guardian. Donald Trump's presidential campaign reportedly blocked an NBC News journalist from covering campaign events in New Hampshire on Sunday. But I don't know if that's the same thing. But
would you consider that the same as banning an entire outlet?
Yeah, I don't know. He was a pool reporter, so I'd have to know more about what that means and if that was the whole outlet. But yeah, I don't know.
Huh. All right. 3886 says, can we just skip the foreplay and get on with it? Nikki Haley endorses Trump and goes home after. Good move. Roll the credits and end it. Amen. 3616 says, somebody should remind Haley that we're a republic. Yeah, but she's focused on the Democrat talking points. Under the republic to which it stands. Not a democracy. Thank you. Thank you. Back to what that one texter said about rigging the primaries. They're trying to do that. In fact, Trump took swipes at Haley. Well, I know, shocker. Trump took swipes at Haley and Sununu over the weekend talking about just that. He went after Haley. He goes after Sununu because in the primary in New Hampshire, you're allowed to vote in the Republican primary if you are a Democrat.
Here in New Hampshire, Nikki Haley, I know her well. The guy screaming bird brain. Only in New Hampshire does that happen. But she's made an unholy alliance with the rhinos, the never-Trumpers, Americans for no prosperity, globalists, the radical left communists, and they want to get liberals and Biden supporters. That's what they want. And, you know, you have a governor here that allows Democrats to vote in the Republican primary. What's that all about? Your governor... And, you know, he'll be coming, and he'll be calling me after the election. So, sir, I just want to congratulate you very much. This guy allows independents, many of whom are Democrats, independents and Democrats to vote in the Republican primary. What the hell is that all about?
What is that all about? I like how he said, he'll be calling me afterwards to say congratulations. Things that we can see happening in the future. Couple people on the super text line talking about that reporter being banned, the NBC reporter. Let me see if I can find that. Man, I just missed it. Oh, here we go. 8212 text in. This is why I love you guys on the super text line. We can crowdsource this information in real time while Mac is fact-checking snow. You guys are out there doing actual work for me, and I appreciate it. They're not getting paid for this work either, Mac. 8212 said, just that specific reporter over the confrontation with Stefanik. NBC can still have a reporter there, just not that one. So that's different. It's different. So, interesting. 6254 said, Nikki Haley will endorse Biden. Don't kid yourself, bro. Yep. Sounds about right. Speaking of endorsements, Trump has been getting a few. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was on CBS over the weekend.
I think this election right now is very simple. It's a very clear contrast. You have two individuals who have a 4-year record to run on. One has a record of success coming from a posture and a position of strength in Donald Trump, and one who comes from a position of weakness. Every single thing that voters actually care about, every single thing that drive voters to show up and cast their ballot, Donald Trump is winning on, whether it's the economy, whether it's securing the border, whether it's national security, whether it's taking a hard line against China. Every single one of those major issues that really drive voters, Donald Trump is dominating Joe Biden on, and they both have clear records in which to run from. And I have no doubt that the matchup in November will declare Donald Trump a clear victor because of that contrast.
And we've seen, if you heard Ken Weaver's newscast at the top of the hour, the Democrats are going to run ad campaigns based around abortion because that's their one winning issue with the radical left is abortion. They can't hang their hat on the economy. They can't hang their hat on the southern border. They have nothing else to galvanize support behind other than abortion. Will that be enough come election time? I don't think so. I think people are more worried about paying their bills right now. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. Meanwhile, Nikki Haley still campaigning against Donald Trump, and senators in her own state are going on TV, on CNN of all places, and stumping for Trump. Tim Scott, who just got engaged over the weekend, Tim Scott was on CNN endorsing Trump.
It comes right down to what does America need for the next president? It would be 4 more years of Donald Trump. And why do I say that? I say that because I worked with President Trump on really important issues impacting American voters and American families. We worked together. I helped write the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017, the largest tax decrease in American history. Think about uniting this country. He gave the highest level of funding for historically black colleges and universities in the history of the country. We have the most inclusive economy, 7 million new jobs, the lowest unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, a 70-year low for women, and a 50-year low for the majority population. That during the Trump years. We also didn't have an invasion of Ukraine. Hamas was not burning, decapitating, killing kids and raping women in Israel. We had a stronger economy, a healthy military, and a safer world. When I compare and contrast, the only conclusion is Donald Trump.
That's the only conclusion. Donald Trump. That's the senator in Nikki Haley's home state endorsing Donald Trump. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And he points out the contrast, and he's right. The contrast is clear. And the Democrats know that, which is why the Democrats have decided to lean on abortion. Mario texted in, said, the new Democrat slogan, since 1973, we've aborted over 60 million babies. I'll go back to Pastor Pat, who was listening earlier. Is this not a big enough issue for you? Is Donald Trump not the most pro-life president that we've ever had? And I understand people will say, well, he hasn't gone the full length. He hasn't gone all the way. But that's the only issue that they're going to be going at him on because they have nowhere else to stand. We'll see what happens. And to other people who say I don't criticize Trump enough, I don't ever say anything negative about Trump. I will say this. A lot of the DeSantis influencers have been switching teams and going for RFK Jr. And I found myself listening to this RFK Jr. clip and going, yep, Trump should have done this. And the difference, the clip is about pardoning Julian Assange.
As part of that campaign, I'm going to give a civics lesson to the American public by pardoning Julian Assange and Edward Snowden. My first day in office.
I think that needs to be done. I think that should have been done on Trump's way out of office. But I think he'll do it if we give him a chance to. Fingers crossed. There's another thing RFK Jr. said that I think Trump should do as well. Steal this, Trump. This is a winning move.
And the same day, I'm going to sign an executive order ordering all federal employees, including the FBI and the CIA, to refrain from colluding or communicating with media or social media companies to censor American political speech. Oh, I know that I can do it.
I think those are winning issues. I think that there's definitely some room for improvement in Trump from his first term. And I don't want to go out there and just be like, everything was roses and candy with Trump. There's definitely things he can do better, but I think that he's the guy for the job. And he's the guy that we need to give a chance to do better. Pardoning Julian Assange should have already happened. Edward Snowden should have already happened. That executive order to make it so the FBI and the CIA can't collude with the media and social media, he should have done that in the lead up to 2020. What are you doing? But these are things that he can do once we vote him in November. Hang out with us. It's 1020 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
State lawmakers getting back to work today. There's a new development in former President Trump's defamation case. And finally, the big thaw is underway. Details at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We're talking about everything that's gone on over the weekend. It was a wild weekend. Chiefs should have lost, but other than that, it was pretty good. I was really looking forward to playing a Bills song for you.
Yeah, but we had a Bills song, you know.
Selfishly, yeah, for content purposes, finding a new Ravens song will be good.
Yeah. Keep hoping, man. Keep hoping.
And Detroit, I mean, 2 championships in 1 year. It's going to be great.
Yeah, how do they do that so quickly, back to back? That's nuts.
It's wild. Insane. So we've been talking a lot about Donald Trump, a lot about Nikki Haley. I did want to shift the focus a little bit to our own resident in chief. Did you hear him threaten every American over the weekend?
What?
Yeah, you didn't. Or it was Friday, so you didn't hear him threaten everybody.
Wow.
He's about unity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's about unity. He had these remarks from Friday. And it started out pretty good. I mean, he's doing the Democrat thing. He's talking about climate change.
When I started the job, I kept talking about the need for deal with the environment. So we don't have a problem. Anybody think climate's not a problem? Raise your hand. Come on, man.
So he's doing his whisper. A couple points he was yelling as well. You know what I mean? Classic Biden.
Pulled out the come on, man.
He's doing his thing. And then he makes this line, this reference about a Thomas Jefferson quote. I'll play the clip and then we'll talk about it. Hang on.
And I love people who say, the blood of liberty, or the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of patriots. Well, guess what, man? I didn't see a whole lot of patriots that are out there walking around making sure that we have these weapons. Well, and if you really want to worry about the government, you need an F-16.
Oh. All right. Thanks, Joe. So this isn't the first time he's said this, okay? He said it back in June of 23. And I had some thoughts. First, let's just discuss what the actual quote is, okay? It's not this.
The tree of liberty is watered with the blood of patriots.
The quote from Thomas Jefferson is, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. So he messes up a founding father quote to threaten Americans. He's all about unity. And he's going to threaten Americans. Classic Joe, right? Now, did he purposefully neglect to say tyrants? Did he purposefully leave that part out, implying that it would only be patriots at the same time? I mean, I'm honestly curious if A, his dementia-riddled brain is confused and he thinks that he actually nailed the quote. I mean, I know he flubbed it at the beginning.
And I love people who say, the blood of liberty.
But did he think he actually nailed the quote? 2, or B, I'm also wondering if he's always thought that was the real quote. And then C, maybe he's never heard this quote, and this is what a Zoomer intern told him to say. Like, lean into the dark Brandon stuff. It's gonna go really good. It's probably some combo of all those, because this drunken power senior citizen that we have in the White House right now probably couldn't give a you-know-what about historic references, and the same way he doesn't give a you-know-what about the Constitution, laws, or whatever us, the serf class, could ever think. And I also want to point out, the Taliban didn't have F-16s either, and Biden still surrendered to them. Is that fair? Is that fair to say? And then his whole logic, threatening Americans, it makes no sense. If something really did pop off, is he saying that he's going to bomb American neighborhoods? Is that what he's implying? Because I'm sorry, if you start bombing American cities, you would lose your military support. Things would go from bad to worse. And if you lose your support, what you really lose is control, because in any of those situations, if anything like that ever popped off, you're going to need people on the ground. That wouldn't end well. And it blows my mind that this guy can say something like that, threaten Americans, and nobody bats an eye. This is not the biggest news story, that the president is threatening Americans.
And I love people who say the blood of liberty, or the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of patriots. Well, guess what, man? I didn't see a whole lot of patriots that are out there walking around making sure that we have these weapons. Well, and if you really want to worry about the government, you need an F-16.
How is this not like leading the news all weekend long? The president of the United States threatens half the country with F-16s. Wouldn't that be a bigger story, you think? 615-737-9986. More of your calls next. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes, and Ginger Z on the big thaw underway.
The January thaw is on, and we're talking about temperatures upwards of 40 degrees warmer than a lot of folks have been. New York City will end up by Thursday in the low 50s, Washington, D.C. in the 60s, Jacksonville, Florida to near 80.
Yeah, right now we're up to 37 degrees here on Music Row, and today marks 1 week since the winter storm hit. The death toll in Tennessee has climbed to 27 from weather-related causes. State lawmakers getting back to work today after taking a week off due to the winter storm. They plan to tackle 2 education issues today. Democratic lawmakers plan to make what they say will be a significant announcement on education this morning. Also, people plan to protest a bill that would ban flags in classrooms other than the American flag. And the judge in former President Trump's defamation case has adjourned the trial for the day over the concerns a juror and an attorney may have been separately exposed to COVID. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Oh, flooding throughout the week. It's the perfect time to poke your head down in your crawl space and see if you have any standing water down there. Hey, it's Chris for USS, United Structural Systems. These guys are the experts in waterproofing. I've had the chance to meet their team, honest, hardworking guys that are proud of the work they do. And after the rain that we get, if you notice water in your crawl space, if you see wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floors, you have to realize that's your house trying to tell you something, and you should give the guys at USS a call to check it out. They have 25,000 satisfied customers that will back them up, and when they come to your home, they will make a custom plan for your home. They'll check out what your issues are and see what they can do to fix them. Now, it's not just waterproofing that these guys do. They can do foundation repair, basement wall realignment. They can help you with your sinkholes on your property, concrete lifting, structural repair. They do it all, and they've been serving Middle Tennessee since 1994. They aren't going anywhere. When you work with a new guy in town, you have no guarantee that they'll still be around if you ever have a warranty issue, but you don't have to worry about that with USS. They're not a franchise, and their custom solution will meet your needs. Plus, you never pay until the work is done and you are satisfied. So after the rain comes, poke your head down in your crawl space and see if you notice any standing water. If you do, call USS at 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855 or online at USSTN.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We're talking about Joe Biden just, uniting the country and threatening half the country at the same time. It's a radical concept. It is. I got a text from 8212. But Trump is a dictator. Yeah, Trump's a dictator. 8964 said, so was that an offer that I could get an F-16? Asking for a friend.
Bingo.
If you missed it, this is the Joe Biden quote we were talking about from Friday.
And I love people who say, the blood of liberty, or the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of patriots. Well, guess what, man? I didn't see a whole lot of patriots that are out there walking around making sure that we have these weapons. Well, and if you really want to worry about the government, you need an F-16.
Need an F-16 if you want to worry about the government. All right. Cool. He's made statements like these before. And I love you guys on the super text line. 0727 said, the beatings will continue until morale improves. Feels like that sometimes, doesn't it? But Trump is a dictator. Mario reminded me that Swalwell threatened us with nukes. Together, they couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. It's the truth. It's the truth. But this is Joe Biden. He has no care for laws. He has no care for the Constitution. And you can see it every single day down at the southern border. The southern border is an absolute mess. So much so that even Democrats are taking note of it, like John Fetterman.
I honestly don't understand why it's controversial to say we need a secure border. I've been very clear. In fact, that was weaponized against me as Republicans in my race, that I'm very much a strong supporter of immigration. And, my wife's family, that's the Oregon story about that. And I think two things can be true at the same time. You can be very supportive of immigration, but we also need to have a secure border.
Why am I agreeing with John Fetterman? These are things I didn't expect in 2024. His redemption arc has been epic, to say the least.
Yeah, for real.
Like, he's making so much sense.
He's had a couple, good takes.
Yeah. What? I don't understand. Me and John are on the same team now, I guess, on this issue. The Dan Mandis said it earlier this morning on Nashville's Morning News. The more he recovers from his stroke, the more sense that he makes. It's just...
Who would have thought?
It's the craziest thing. Ted Cruz was talking about, what's going on the border with Texas. If you don't know, Texas has, and I'm sure you do know because you guys are smart enough, but Texas has taken over a portion of the border in Eagle Pass. They've taken it away from the feds. They are installing more fencing, more razor wire, and arresting any illegals that come over that area. It's a big deal. Ted Cruz was talking about their moves at the border, and how what they're doing actually is constitutional?
In this instance, what Texas is doing is entirely consistent with federal law. It is Joe Biden who's defying federal law. And so it's qualitatively different because the federal immigration laws are passed by Congress and signed into law. Listen, Texas would rather not have to do this. They'd rather the federal government do its damn job. The reason Texas is acting, and I salute Texas, the governor, the legislature, for stepping up and trying to solve this crisis, is because the Biden administration created the crisis and they want it to happen. The amazing thing, Leland, Joe Biden could fix this today.
Yep.
Right. If he simply decided when we apprehend someone, we will deport them, the numbers would plummet. He doesn't want to. He wants 9.6 million to be 20 million, to be 30 million. And he's willing to overlook enormous suffering.
He is. He's willing to overlook enormous suffering, unless they can use that suffering to their political advantage. Like Karine Jean-Pierre saying it's devastating that a migrant family drowned on their way into the country and then blaming Texas. This is what they do. If they can use it to their advantage, they'll highlight it. If they can't use it to their advantage, they'll hide it. But what Texas is doing needs to be done. We're seeing the repercussions of this open border in just about every major city in America. In Chicago, they found an organized retail burglary ring is being led by newly arrived illegal aliens. The Chicago suburb of Oak Brook has been beset with an increase in retail theft and burglaries over the last year, and police say the leading culprits have been recently arrived illegal border crossers who have filtered out to the suburb from Chicago. 47 recently arrived illegal aliens have been arrested in connection with retail thefts and home and car burglaries just since October, and more than 175 since last year, according to Newsbreak. Officials of the suburb, which is only 25 minutes west of downtown Chicago and only minutes south of O'Hare International, where hundreds of illegals have been sheltering for months, noted that the thieves used bags lined with sheets of tinfoil in an attempt to thwart anti-theft protection devices at entrances, the New York Post reported. So that's what's going on in Chicago because of our open borders. In New York, our open borders are leaving New York City neighborhoods filthy, filled with migrant poop and cups of urine. The multitude of illegal aliens flooding New York City have apparently not been cleaning up after themselves in the East Village area. For the past few months, adult illegal aliens have stood in line outside of the former St. Bridget's School on East 7th Street, the New York Post reported Saturday, noting that the overflow of people has spilled into Tompkins Square as they wait to be given a shelter and a bed. However, workers within the city's park department have been forced to remove 3 porta potties from the nearby park because they were left so dirty it became impossible to keep them clean. The pictures of these porta potties are vile. A street cleaner identified as John Cashman told the Post about his recent experience, stating, "There was a cup of what I thought was somebody's discarded hot chocolate that turned out to not be hot chocolate."
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep. He added that when the temperatures are warm, the area smells like a toilet. Overflowing with debris. Porta potties overflowing with fecal matter. Social media users commented on the Post report. One individual writing, "Those sanctuary cities sure are vibrant." It's vibrant. Another person commented, "That's nasty. Welcome to New York City. San Francisco 2.0. Neighbors and volunteers claim they have seen cups of urine near the park entrance and human-sized feces at the foot of trees and between cars parked in the area. One man claimed the illegal aliens had been leaving cups filled with urine on doorsteps because they did not want to relieve themselves on the ground. The arrival of over 160,000 illegal aliens and border crossers has spurred the erosion of the quality of life for New York residents, Mayor Eric Adams said back in December. I feel like erosion of quality of life is the biggest understatement of the year. not just New York. It's not just Chicago. Kansas City, Missouri is having these problems too. They are.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. I knew you'd perk up.
It's not good.
Their Democrat mayor said that the illegal alien surge is helping cause homelessness. Said that on Friday's broadcast of Morning Joe. Quentin Lucas, Quentin.
Yep.
Big Q.
Big Q.
He stated that the migration issue is one causing a rise in homelessness. We all thought after 2020 and 2021 and COVID, you would see the numbers go back down, the world would get back to normal, but you are not seeing that. It's getting worse. He also said, I think you're seeing a few different approaches. First, some mayors like Mike Johnston in Denver and others are using these truly creative ideas to get everyone off the streets. And so there's a true, how do we build more housing? How do we once and for all get more support for HUD? That's a key part of our initiative, saying that, frankly, we need funding. Everybody needs funding. Got to fund it. In Maine, they're building apartment complexes and they're giving free rent to illegal aliens. How long until those apartment complexes are looking like the streets of New York City? How long until the residents of those apartment complexes are dealing what they're dealing with in Chicago suburbs? Burglary rings. And how long until the fear of what we're really fearing happens in the form of a terrorist attack? Because that's a big fear. We have so many people coming across our southern border. It is downright dangerous. We talk about Biden's plummeting approval ratings, and they are. They're plummeting. The ABC 538 poll over the weekend has Biden and Harris both in negative approval ratings.
Both Biden and Harris face negative approval ratings. And though some recent battleground state polls show Harris actually outperforming Biden in hypothetical matchups against Trump, both come up short.
Everybody's losing to Trump. But I'll tell you why. It's because they see the result of these Democrat policies. There's a video that went viral over the weekend. This African-American guy, and he's upset. He's very upset about the vote blue no matter who crowd. And he talks about this video that also went viral of an illegal alien in Chicago telling a black woman, no more money for you, you're lazy. This is the clip from that video in case you haven't heard it. No more money for you. This black guy in Chicago is just heated about it. Heated. And he went viral over the weekend with this video.
So, did y'all see it? Because I saw it. Illegal immigrant in Chicago tells a black woman, no more money for you. No more money for you, you lazy. Yeah. What you think they doing? See, when Donald Trump was building that wall, and Donald Trump was saying, close the border, we got a crisis at that border, y'all called Donald Trump racist. Y'all said he was racist. You heard me? Y'all wanted him out of office. I'm sorry to say it, man, but listen, that's what you asked for. Y'all said vote blue no matter who, New York, Chicago, you heard me, California, all these places, and look what's going on. They don't need the black vote no more. They replacing your ass. With illegal immigrants, they're replacing you. They don't need you.
Yep.
But this is what happened. You say vote blue no matter who. Oh, no, let the illegals come in. They need to be here. Yeah. Now you see what's going on now, don't you?
I think everybody sees what's going on now. Crime in all of these cities because of illegal aliens. Feces in the streets of New York. Cups filled with urine. More money for illegal aliens than we have. We're at $34 trillion in debt. Let's build. I got a great idea to deal with the illegals in Maine. Let's build apartment complexes and give them free rent. Who's paying for this? Your grandkids, your children. We're writing checks with money we don't have. We are borrowing money from China to fund this. And what we're really funding is the next terror attack in our country. That's coming. That's coming soon. In fact, a Middle Eastern illegal alien was caught on video by a reporter at the border, and this gentleman openly threatened America.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am.
but soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
You will see soon.
You will see soon, he says. I disagree. I don't think that's entitlement at all. I think that's a threat. How much time and effort do you think the FBI has done finding this individual? I don't know. They're pretty busy at the moment, tracking purchases of Bibles and any merchandise that had the words MAGA or Trump tied to it. I think they're probably more focused on domestic terrorism at the moment. That's the greatest threat, right? No. The greatest threat we're currently facing are the policies of the Biden administration. That's the greatest threat we're facing. And so many people see it. That's the only silver lining we have. We are seeing a mass awakening of people going, enough. Enough. I got more on the way. Hang out with us. It's 10:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Gotta slow down, drivers. This is in Robertson County, 65 southbound between Portland, Highway 109, exit 121, and exit 112. That is a 20-minute delay. It is stop-and-go traffic, 65 southbound there in Robertson County. Hear from potential voters in New Hampshire worried about the cost of living. And federal regulators want inspections on planes different than the Boeing 737 MAX 9s. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I played a clip a minute ago of a Middle Eastern individual coming across the border and threatening America.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am.
Soon you're going to know.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
You will see soon.
You will see soon. I don't think it's entitlement. I think it's a threat. I made the comment, I wonder how many FBI officials are investigating who this man is, where he's going. Probably not a lot. They're busy. They're busy with domestic terrorists. You know what I mean? 3919, our friend Lacey texted in, said that guy making threats at the border better not show up at a school board meeting. No, because that's the only way you get on an FBI watch list nowadays, if you're a concerned parent. This is all exactly as planned at the southern border. Hey, some developments on illegal aliens in New York City. New York is now seeking to expand its state-run healthcare options for illegal aliens. More free healthcare for illegal aliens. A bulletin from the New York State of Health revealed the new, more comprehensive benefit package for illegal aliens. Interesting. Who's paying for that when we're $34 trillion in debt? Weird. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 2 minutes right now. Still got that traffic problem in Robertson County, 65 southbound. You got a 23-minute delay there. That is going to be starting at mile marker 112. Goes all the way to mile marker 121. The big thaw is on the way for Middle Tennessee, other parts of the nation. Right now in Nashville, Metro Water Services expects water main breaks to go up as the temperature rises. As of this morning, they had at least 8 water main breaks they were dealing with. NDOT says it's now able to focus snow and ice removal on roads in neighborhoods. In the future, Mayor Freddie O'Connell tells Channel 4 they hope to be faster.
We've got 37 new trucks on order. They're state-of-the-art. We hope to add real-time tracking to those vehicles as well so people can understand where the plows are on these routes. It should let us expand the number of routes. We're planning to staff up.
Election 2024, Americans are not seeing their dollar go as far as it used to, and it's on the mind of potential voters ahead of the primary in New Hampshire tomorrow.
It's down to 2 candidates in New Hampshire. Undecided voters and independents could propel or narrow Nikki Haley's chances beyond the Granite State against Donald Trump. At a Haley event, Diane Christine, who voted for President Biden last election, says Social Security is her biggest concern.
I'm going to be 65 this year, and inflation has been just like crazy.
Jake, turning 18 this year, came with his parents to see Haley. He'll vote in his first general election this fall. He's also concerned about his future.
I think I'm just open to seeing new ideas.
That is Michelle Franzen reporting. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris goes to Wisconsin today to kick off what her team is calling the Fight for Reproductive Freedoms Tour. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for joining us and keeping us with you wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. Don't forget, if you missed something from the show, you want to share it with a friend, we put all the podcasts up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So just hit subscribe. Even if you don't listen to them, just hit subscribe. Do me a solid. Get them numbers up. You'll do that for me, right? I would do it for you. I do it for Mac.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Mac has a podcast, Behind the Box Score.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So he does that for our sister station, 104.5 The Zone. So if you want to hear him ooh and ah over the Chiefs win, that's the place for it.
Bingo.
So they got lucky.
Oh, yeah, lucky for sure, man.
Missed field goals, classic Bills.
Yeah.
Classic.
Norwood, yep, goes back to the 90s.
This is what they do.
This is wide right.
When it came down to a field goal, I was like, yeah, this is. I knew what was going to happen, but it's all right. We'll get a fresh song next week.
Oh, okay, all right, love it.
Nobody wanted to hear a repeat of the Bills song. How about Detroit though?
2 championships, man,
dude. They've been
what a year.
They've been on a tear. They've been on a tear. Nikki Haley has been surging like Detroit also. Did you know that? She's surging.
Surging.
A new poll is out, though. Trump leads Nikki Haley by 19 points in New Hampshire. That's a Suffolk-Boston poll. Trump received 57% of the support to Nikki Haley's 38.
I thought New Hampshire was going to be Nikki's big win.
No. That's like New Hampshire's like the redneck Riviera in New England. It's like, trust me. I lived
in
New Hampshire. I grew up like right by the border.
Oh, wow.
And then my first apartment was in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
I moved to that apartment during an ice storm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, during an ice storm, me and like 10 of my buddies hopped in a U-Haul.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, it was awesome. My neighbors hated us though. So it's during an ice storm, all the power goes out, and we brought in a generator, and we were on the second floor, and we started it on our balcony. So that's how we were welcome to the neighborhood.
They're like, who the hell is this guy?
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. That was us. So I know a thing or two about New Hampshire, and I know that Nikki Haley doesn't really have much chance before tomorrow's primary election in New Hampshire. And she's already kind of being like, yeah, well, we're looking for a win in South Carolina. South Carolina's the move. But the poll published ahead of this has the 2024 GOP frontrunner Donald Trump leading Nikki Haley, the only remaining challenger, by almost 20 points, 57-38. And this is the new poll with DeSantis dropping out of the race on Sunday. And with DeSantis dropping out, I mean, Haley surged. She gained 2 points. That's a surge. A Washington Post Monmouth University poll, also released on Monday, placed Trump ahead 18 points of Haley with 52% and Haley at 34. DeSantis received 8% of that support because, it was conducted before he bid everyone farewell.
So even if you gave all 8% of that to Nikki Haley,
still losing.
Yeah, by a lot.
And do you think DeSantis bros are going to come out and support Nikki Haley? Some may. But I can't see the majority of them.
No.
Because at its core, the DeSantis support mirrors a lot of the Trump value. You know what I mean? And at its core, Nikki Haley doesn't really reflect that at all.
I mean, as far as policy is concerned, DeSantis and Trump were pretty mirrored, right?
Yeah, pretty much in lockstep.
Yeah.
So, no activating hand gestures for Nikki Haley.
Activate hand gesture.
Yep. Surging. So, that's the latest polls. And it's not really a shock when you see people coming out and predicting Trump victories in November. People are already moving on from Nikki Haley. Trump was taking his swings at her over the weekend, though. He was in New Hampshire. And, I mean, he went after her more than once.
She is a globalist. I've always known that about her. And our country cannot be globalist. We don't even have that choice anymore. We owe $35 trillion, and we have to take care of ourselves first. But, I had no wars going on. We defeated ISIS. I defeated ISIS in a matter of months. They said it would take 4 or 5 years. I did it in a few months. And I just took everybody. I was taking everybody out. It was the opposite. I rebuilt the military, but the opposite. And we really had peace through strength in this country. But I got to know everybody, and I got to know Nikki very well. Nikki was not a great negotiator. She had certain things that she was good at, but she wouldn't be good for this job. I can tell you that right now.
No, I don't think she would be good for this job. And as far as her being a globalist, even Ron DeSantis surrogates are saying that Nikki Haley would play footsie with the World Economic Forum if elected. Footsie. That's what Rep. Mike Waltz, a Republican out of Florida and a DeSantis campaign surrogate, said would happen if Nikki Haley was elected. Do you want somebody that's going to play footsie with the World Economic Forum? No. Not exactly what we're looking for. But Trump's asked, asked about how Nikki says he's nervous. He's nervous. And that's why he attacks her.
She said I'd never run against him. He's a great president, and I would never run against him. I've just put up a tape. And just so you understand, but she's way behind. You're talking like, oh, gee, we're concerned with her. I'm not concerned with her at all.
Not concerned with her at all, actually. Way behind. Oh, gee. Oh, gee.
Gee, we're concerned with her. I'm not concerned with her at all.
Not concerned. Not concerned. And you know what? Trump has people going out on every major news network over the weekend endorsing him. You had Tim Scott on CNN. You had Sarah Huckabee Sanders on CBS. You had Doug Burgum saying this on ABC.
As we know, during the time that President Trump was in office, we had peace and prosperity in America. And under President Biden, we've got chaos around the world. You know this better than anyone. You've traveled more. You know the countries, but between the Middle East, Eastern Europe, what's going on with China, the world is on fire. And when I was campaigning, we were running on three things: the economy, on energy policy, and national security, and how those three things are all interrelated. And Joe Biden is taking us in the wrong direction on all of those, 180 degrees in the wrong direction. And I'm confident that President Trump he's going to be right on the economy, right on energy policy, and right on national security.
So that's Doug Burgum endorsing Trump over the weekend on ABC. All of the former Republican, potential nominees have come out and endorsed Trump now, except for Asa Hutchinson. I don't think he's doing too well. I'm just worried about him. I don't have anything mean to say.
Just concerned.
Just somebody check on him. But who is if nobody's supporting Nikki Haley, who is supporting Nikki Haley? Well, it's going to be Democrats, of course, in New Hampshire. A small group of New Hampshire Democrats who registered as independents in an effort to stop Trump from regaining the White House are planning to vote for the former South Carolina governor, Nikki Haley, in Tuesday's GOP primary. Are people going to be that motivated against Trump that they're going to go out and vote Nikki Haley? Well, in an interview with the Daily Mail, Robert Schwartz of Primary Pivot said that around 3,500 Democrats re-registered as undeclared last year, so they'd be eligible to vote in the GOP primary in New Hampshire. They said, we feel that Donald Trump is a unique existential threat to our democracy. And so people that put saving our democracy over partisanship should want to stop him. Schwartz claims the small group of Democrat voters should give Haley a 1-point edge over Donald Trump. One of the voters who re-registered is Hella Ross. She said, we have to make sure that Trump is not the nominee. And then she went on to all the Democrat talking points, which Nikki Haley has leaned in on recently. This voter who re-registered, Hella Ross, said she's a woman of color. She's an Indian American. She's a military spouse. So she has a lot of background in different facets of life, and she has a plan. She's very persuasive. She's smart as a whip. All right, that's a hot take. It's a hot take. Now, according to the New Hampshire Secretary of State website, voters who are registered as an undeclared voter can choose to vote in the Democrat or Republican presidential primary, as long as they've changed their registration to such before October 6th of the previous year. Former President Trump addressed the scheme at the rally on Tuesday. This was Trump talking about the fact that, you can vote in these primaries even if you're a Democrat. You can vote in a Republican primary.
Here in New Hampshire, Nikki Haley, I know her well. The guy screaming bird brain. Only in New Hampshire does that happen. But she's made an unholy alliance with the rhinos, the never-Trumpers, Americans for no prosperity, globalists, the radical left communists, and they want to get liberals and Biden supporters. That's what they want. And, you have a governor here that allows Democrats to vote in the Republican primary. What's that all about? Your governor, and, he'll be coming. And he'll be calling me after the election. So, sir, I just want to congratulate you very much. This guy allows independents, many of whom are Democrats, independents and Democrats to vote in the Republican primary. What the hell is that all about?
What is that all about? Pretty weird. It was also revealed on Saturday that the Haley campaign director in New Hampshire, Tyler Clark, previously lobbied for the Soros-funded Democrat dark money organization 1630 Fund. In an interview with Fox's Neil Cavuto, Haley donor Andy Sabin bragged about the campaign raising tremendous amounts of money, and he said a number of it is coming from Democrats. So that's who she's lined up with. People that are lined up with the Soroses. That's who Nikki Haley is in line with. So is it any stretch to say that she's a globalist? Probably not. Probably not. Alex Soros, who's the son of George Soros, put a pretty weird message on Twitter over the weekend as well. A lot of people are calling it a hidden message and a open threat towards Donald Trump. So he posted this tweet, Alex Soros did. And it said, last year, the crime and inflation crises largely evaporated. So did the leading theories about what had caused them. All right, seems like nothing, right? But they're saying the threat was in the picture that he posted. The picture with the tweet has a window with a bullet hole in it, and next to that, a hand holding money. Well, if you look at the money, it totals to 47. 2 10s, a 20, a 5, and 2 1s. People are saying that that's a death threat towards Donald Trump. I don't know. That's just what people are saying on the internet. And if it's on the internet, it has to be true, right? That's how people do things. That's how the internet works, right?
Of course.
Every time.
Yep. No need to fact check, man, if it's on the internet.
I did fact check it on the internet. So that's how I know it checks out.
You're good.
But it does feel kind of weird, and it kind of feels a little bit creepy. Plus, we all know that they've tried to stop Trump every other way. They've tried to stop him with impeachments, didn't work. They tried to stop him with indictments, didn't work. They put the mugshot out, people love him more. So a lot of people always are like, well, what's left for them to do? And you see these weird hidden threats. I don't know. Could be nothing. Could be nothing. But it's worth noting because people are taking note of it. High level, internet influencers, if you will, are taking note of it. And it's just wild. This is where we're at in the country right now. And we have a media that won't cover any of it. So I felt like I should bring it up to you. New Hampshire Democrats voting for Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley's campaign manager in bed with Soros-funded dark money organizations. George Soros' son posts fake threats towards the president, the former president, on the internet over the weekend. Everybody, you guys following? Of course you're following. But that hasn't stopped people from supporting Trump and people that don't support Trump from saying, yeah, it's probably going to be Trump. Everybody is acknowledging that Trump is going to be the nominee. And even more than that, that Trump will probably beat Biden in the general election in November. From Pierce Morgan to Charlemagne, they all seem to agree that this is Trump's nomination and that he's probably going to win. I have audio from both of those guys on the way. Hang out with us. It's 11:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Now, with the freezing temperatures, have you had to deal with frozen pipes? I know a lot of people around the area have. And if you don't know who to call with this issue, I got a guy for you, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Plus, if your heater's not been working the way it should, you should call the guys I trust. I mean, if it's not cranking the way it should, don't wait for it to just die on you. Call Busy Bee before that problem pops up with your heat and be proactive to keep your unit in tip-top shape. Whether you need annual maintenance, repair, or replacement, plumbing, heating, or air system, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling have you covered, and you're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. These guys will offer up to 12 months, no payment, no interest with approved credit, and it pays in so many ways to make sure you're getting that annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems from Busy Bee. And you get added rewards and savings by signing up to be a Beehive member. My wife loves that we're Beehive members. You get that thorough annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems. You get no overtime charges 24/7 and 10% off all repairs. Plus, you get front-of-the-line service. They also offer convenient Saturday availability for those maintenance calls because they know you're conservative and you're working during the week. So you'll never be left out in the cold. They'll come see you on Saturday. Busy Bee, they're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833 or online at busybeehvac.com.
All right, you've got an 18-minute delay trying to get through Robertson County on 65 southbound. It is stop-and-go traffic starting at mile marker 112. And Tennessee is now purple with the flu. Details coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Scaring me with that purple talk. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I mean, we got the blue cities, but pretty red. Pretty red. So my ears perk up whenever I hear Tennessee's purple.
What's that?
What's he saying? What? Don't scare me like that, Ken Weaver. More on the way from Ken Weaver at 11:30. Thank you, Ken. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Don't forget, you can listen to us everywhere. iHeartRadio app, TuneIn app. Get the podcast sent straight to your phone with Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Hit the subscribe button, even if you don't plan to listen, so that way you can help me get my numbers up. Appreciate it. Go right to your phone. Super easy. Even get a nice little picture of me. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
All right, so whatever. Your podcast would have a picture of you.
It's an animated picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Mine's really me. So I'm just saying. All right. We were talking about all these endorsements and predictions coming in. Trump has them all. Everybody's predicting Trump will be the nominee. And people that you wouldn't expect are predicting Trump will also beat Biden in the general. In fact, we've been talking about this guy a lot on our station. I don't know if we should, but he's got a big voice. Charlemagne, out of the Breakfast Club in New York City, which is a prominent hip-hop morning show. I mean, this guy shilled for Biden and Harris in the lead up to 2020. He's had numerous interviews with Joe Biden. He was the guy that Joe Biden said, if you got a problem voting for me or Trump, you ain't black. And, you know, he has Kamala Harris on his show. He has Jasmine Crockett on his show. He's got all these people. So whether or not he knows anything about politics, people listen to him for his insight in politics in that community. In fact, a lot of people listen. I mean, his show's nationally syndicated across the country. He's got a lot of ears in a lot of different communities. So he was asked, he was on Piers Morgan over the weekend, and he's asked about his prediction in Trump versus Biden.
Charlemagne, the casting votes.
Well, by the way, that's what's so scary about it. Like,
right, that you have to think.
And by the way, you didn't have to want this to happen.
But you're talking about, I know, but you're talking about a guy who has 91 criminal charges, a guy who says he wants to be a dictator for a day, a guy who says we should rip up the Constitution.
Against a guy who doesn't know what day it is.
All right, I just want to stop there for a second. He says you're talking about a guy who wants to be a dictator. You're talking about a guy who has 91 indictments. So he's repeating all these talking points, and I think it's important to highlight that he believes the talking points before we get to his prediction. So this is a guy that truly loves that blue Kool-Aid. He drinks it down. He slurps it in a big gulp cup. He's drinking the Democrat Kool-Aid. And he's asked for his prediction on Trump v. Biden.
But you're talking about, I know, but you're talking about a guy who has 91 criminal charges, a guy who says he wants to be a dictator for a day, a guy who says we should rip up the Constitution.
Against a guy who doesn't know what day it is.
And that's what I'm saying. So if Biden has done all of these great things and he's up against that and we're still not sure
I need a name, Charlemagne.
Is he winnable? I really don't know.
You got to give me a name.
Who's going to win?
Biden v. Trump.
It's not Dean Phillips.
It's not going to be Dean Phillips. I really, truly don't know. If I had to say right now, I would say Donald Trump.
Wow. There we go, the casting vote. Charlemagne the God, the man with his finger on the pulse of America. Trump.
He predicts Trump will win the election. I just want to point out, I feel bad for Dean Phillips. Dean Phillips wasn't even brought up in the conversation. They just decided to roast Dean Phillips in the middle of that. Poor Dean.
It's not Dean Phillips.
It's not going to be Dean Phillips.
Not Dean Phillips. I also refuse to say.
Strays.
I also, when I talk about Charlemagne, I just say Charlemagne. I know he goes by Charlemagne the God. I know that's a reference in New York hip-hop culture that dates back to the 90s, and it's just slang, but I refuse to call him Charlemagne the God. It's just trash name. Just Charlemagne. Call you what your mother calls you. Right? You think his mother calls him Charlemagne the God?
Is that his real name?
Charlemagne?
Yeah.
Probably.
Gotcha.
Probably. But I don't know. I don't want to call him that. I think that's a lousy nickname. But anyway, he's got, he does have his finger on the pulse of the urban community. And he says, Trump. Even with him believing all of the Democrat lies, he says, Trump. It's 11:30 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Still got that slowdown for drivers 65 southbound through Robertson County. That's a 12-minute delay in between mile markers 112 and 121. It is stop-and-go traffic at times during that 9-mile stretch. And the big thaw underway, but it could mean new problems. Metro Water Services expecting more water main breaks as the temperature rises. And right now in Tennessee, we have the highest flu activity in the nation, according to a new map released by the Centers for Disease Control. Channel 4's Garlic Gordon reports.
Tennessee here is the only state in purple. And if you look over here, you'll see that is the highest category possible. Since early December, flu has been causing more emergency room visits than COVID-19. Children between 5 and 11 years old make up a lot of the ER visits, but hospitalization rates are the highest for seniors.
Right now, state health records show at least 2 children in Tennessee have died from flu complications this season. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Shout out to our friend Tim in Sumner County. He texted, he said, Charlemagne is not his real name. His real name is Leonard.
I knew it.
Yeah, you called it. You called it. This guy's a gangster. His real name's Leonard. All right, Leonard. Charlemagne, a.k.a. Leonard.
A.k.a. Leonard.
Leonard.
Yeah, Charlemagne sounds a little cooler.
Yeah, it does. It does. It sounds cooler. Charlemagne. What a putz. I mean, even with him believing all the Democrat lies, he still predicts a Trump victory in November. What? Wendy texted in. She said, your last name can't actually be Hand. I refuse to call you that. Call you Chris. That's it. That's my government. It's my government. Says it on my IDs, my social, my passport. My real last name's Hand. Facts.
On your Canadian passport?
All right. Here we go. Here we go. Thanks, Mac. Matt Murray, everybody. He's the best. He's the best producer I've ever had.
Here's Max Morley at it again.
Yep, he's one of the best.
That's good. That's funny.
All right, so I want to get through a couple of the stories that I haven't had a chance to. Japan wants a meeting with Trump in anticipation of a 2024 win. So we talked about Leonard, a.k.a. Charlemagne, saying that he thinks Trump is going to win. Japan, the country of Japan, thinks that Trump is going to win as well. Multiple newspapers in Japan reporting this week that the government of conservative Prime Minister Kishida Fumio, which I'm probably butchering, is seeking to establish contact with former President Donald Trump in anticipation of his potential return to the White House. Japan already looking out to link up with Trump. As we all know, during his first term in office, Trump made Japan a priority in his foreign policy. He had a great relationship with Abe Shinzo, and now the current prime minister is looking to do the same ahead of the election. I feel like that's a big sign, right? If that's not a biggest sign, a big enough sign for you, the opposite is also happening. Zelensky is stressed over Trump. Zelensky, out of the Ukraine. He's stressed over Trump. And more specifically, Trump's plans to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Totally stressed by it. On Friday, President Vladimir Zelensky said that former President Trump's rhetoric on peace with Russia is very dangerous and it has him worried. Zelensky. Peace is dangerous, right? That's weird. He literally said this in an interview with the UK's Channel 4 News. Zelensky was asked about Trump's claim that he could end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours, and he said, Trump is going to make decisions on his own without, I'm not even talking about Russia, but without both sides, without us. If he says this publicly, that's a little scary. I've seen a lot of victims. That's really making me a bit stressed. Because even if his idea that no one has heard yet doesn't work for us, for our people, he will do anything to implement his idea. And this worries me a little. He went on to say, if it's just a political message, then I don't afraid. But if it is some formula, I have to know it. Peace is dangerous. Peace is dangerous, according to Vladimir Zelensky. It's a radical statement. Do you know peace is dangerous?
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
One of the most dangerous things.
Don't want peace, bro.
Underrated. Underrated danger in peace. Also, I don't know if you saw this over the weekend in New York City. The Patriot Front was out. Do you know the Patriot Front?
No.
They're individuals that are, people call them white supremacists. Other people call them feds. I don't have any opinion on them. I just know that
gotcha.
That's what people call them.
You're pretty neutral.
I'm neutral. Some people call them, threats to democracy. Others call them the FBI. So anyway, they're out in New York City over the weekend, and they're marching. They're doing their marching thing, to strike fear into the hearts of people. They're actually listed as a white supremacist group by the Anti-Defamation League. So these guys show up in New York City on Friday, and they're marching, and then they get into vehicles without license plates. And the legacy media doesn't seem to care. Wall Street Silver, who is a big account on Twitter, commented, "The fact that legacy media shows zero curiosity about unmasking these guys tells us 100% that these are federal agents or paid stooges of one of the agencies." To which Elon Musk chimed in and said, "Seems like they should be followed and unmasked. Why doesn't the media or government care about their identities?" So it was Saturday, a video showed 90 to 150 individuals marching in lockstep in New York City, being escorted by police officers. It was shared everywhere. It went viral. The group marched through Manhattan, making their way down Wall Street. They were also seen near the 9/11 Memorial and the World Trade Center location and held a demonstration outside the National Archives with a sign that read, "No Zionists in the government." So left-wing journalists jump in like Brian Krasenstein and suggested that it would be breaking the law for the government or media to unmask them. "As much as I hate it," he wrote, "even hate has rights, unfortunately." And then Elon Musk interjected again and said, "Well, just follow them." These guys were seen hopping into vehicles with no license plates in New York City. You tell me, on what planet are you driving around in New York City with no license plates and you're not going to be questioned by police? Well, they weren't. They were escorted by police. Just seems like a weird situation. Thomas Massey joked in response to the video, saying that they were on their way to the pipe bomb workshop, referencing recent reports that the pipe bombs placed outside the RNC and DNC on January 5th, the day before January 6th, was a hoax by the FBI, or at least potentially covered up by the FBI and Secret Service. So even Thomas Massey heading to the pipe bomb workshop. But these guys, they're marching. They get into a vehicle with no license plates. Nobody asks any questions. There was a Patriot Front demonstration in May of 2023 in front of police in Washington, D.C., and police blocked anyone from following the group into a subway station. So this isn't the first time that people were speculating that the authorities don't want people to find out who these Patriot Front members are. So I don't know. White supremacists, feds. You choose. You choose. I don't know. Just thought it was interesting. It went very viral, and then it disappeared very quickly. Isn't it weird how that happens? Find it odd. And one more story I wanted to get to that I haven't had time to, but I think it's worth noting. Was Hugh Hefner the first Jeffrey Epstein? Or at least one Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, I didn't know you had the music that fast.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, so one of Hugh Hefner's widows is saying that old Hef had little spy holes to record celebs, politicians, and business leaders having sex at the mansion. I don't know. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. But Crystal Hefner has revealed that her late husband, Playboy founder Hugh Hefner, had camera peepholes in his bedroom and even in the foot of his bed, where he says he recorded sexual encounters with celebrities, high-ranking politicians, apparently without their knowledge. She describes these little spy holes that she discovered in Hef's bedroom at the Playboy mansion, and when she asked Hugh about them, he just shrugged. This is according to the New York Post. But what are they for? Crystal Hefner says she asked Hef. And he says, I used to do a lot of filming. VHS. This is VCR tapes, Mac. VHS. I had hours of video, hundreds of sexy tapes. That revelation comes as part of Hefner's upcoming tell-all book, Only Say Good Things, Surviving Playboy and Finding Myself, which is due out on January 23rd. So she's writing a book. But these rumors have been there for a while. Have you heard these rumors before on the internet?
Yeah. Yep.
That this was another kind of Epstein-esque thing. Pretty weird. Crystal says she also asked her husband if all the celebrities knew he was recording them. And he said, it's my bedroom, my house. Oh, all right. I feel like that's a no.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you take that as a no?
That's a no.
I feel like that's a no. In the book, Hefner adds that, Crystal Hefner adds that Hef, who passed away in 2017, claimed to have tapes of numerous A-list celebrities, videos of wild orgies, also with celebrities and politicians and business leaders, some of whom were married. Wouldn't that make for good blackmail? Not a blackmail guy. Like I don't engage in blackmailing individuals, but if I did, I feel like having sex tapes on married politicians would be a good piece of leverage.
Yeah,
no,
that'd be a good start.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be the first route I would go, but it seems like a popular route that people go. She also goes on to say, I think the cameras were out of commission by the time I got there. But there were these carved wood panels, and one of the panels on the right had a circular cutout, she said, according to the Post. Little spy holes. She added that she cringes at the thought of those photos because they were probably not very good photos. She never expected to be chosen as a guest. So there was also rumors back in the day when the mansion sold and when Playboy sold that what you were buying was actually all the blackmail footage. Do you remember those rumors on the internet?
Oh wow, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'd have to dig it up. I don't have it in front of me, but that was a lot of the rumors that were going around. Why would you buy a dying magazine? You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, sure, it's a legacy brand, but in this day and age, how much money are you going to actually make by purchasing Playboy?
Yeah, magazines. No one cares about magazines.
And we learned that over the weekend with Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, man.
Laying off all of their staff.
Yeah.
Magazines are on the way out.
I mean, like getting an SI was like the thing.
We used to love getting the SIs.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Who's on the cover? What are they talking about?
I had my fold-out Grant Hill poster.
Oh, it's awesome.
Bam,
Yeah, you
on
could
the wall.
Yeah, man. So cool.
Pistons Grant Hill, too. You know?
Oh, yeah. OG, yeah.
Like
in his prime. Yeah.
That was
Jeez,
that
man.
was the move. Grant Hill. They wanted him to be the next Jordan so bad.
Injuries, man.
Ruined his career.
Yep.
Yep.
What could have been?
What could have been. And what is with the Playboy blackmail that Crystal Hefner may be revealing in her book.
Yeah, 9944 said Crystal Hefner's her stripper name. Her real name's Leonard.
It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by Matt Murphy. Both of us glaring in disgust through the window at Matt Morey.
I want to congratulate you today, Hand.
Okay.
I don't know how you did it. Looking at that smug, just pompous. Oh. Has he taken his shirt off yet?
Yeah, at one point, he pulled a, what's the other Kelsey brother name?
Jason.
Yeah. He's shirtless in there, drinking a Bud Light, logo out.
Beer.
Right.
Wasn't that the weirdest part of that whole moment? That he's shirtless in the booth, drinking his Bud Light during the game, and holding a beer. He's holding a beer the way, and we're talking about the Chiefs game, and it's Travis Kelce's brother, holding a beer in the most unorganic way ever to make sure that the logo is facing the camera. How much you get paid for that?
Oh, jeez.
How much you get paid, Mac?
Yikes.
Well, we're talking,
Yikes, buddy.
I'm going to have to push back on that just a little, Hand, because we are talking about a guy that reportedly was doing bowling ball shots before the game started.
Yeah.
And who's also, I don't know if anybody else noticed, more blessed in certain areas than Taylor Swift. So, I mean.
Oh, that's a hot take.
I mean, I saw what I saw, Maury.
So,
and I think we're all purple now, right? I mean, all of us are.
Oh, that's fine, yeah. Do your thing. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Take it as respect.
So we're watching it, and my wife's like, "Do we really have to watch the game?" And I was like, "Well, we can come back to it." I was like, "We can come back to it. I just need to see if they lose. I don't really care about the middle. Care about the end." And so I said, "Did you see Travis Kelce's brother shirtless drinking a beer?" She's like, "Did you see that on the internet? Is that some meme?" I was like, "No, I saw it with my own eyes." She's like, "That can't be real." I was like, "It was real." She's like, "It didn't happen." I was like, "I saw it, Virginia."
It's not AI.
No.
Yes, Virginia. There is a shirtless Kelsey. So, yeah, and I guess growing up in the Great White North, Boston, not Canada. I mean, you kind of grew up a Patriots guy, right?
Yeah, loved it.
So you hate the Bills.
I hate both of those teams.
Yeah.
Growing up,
so does America.
Growing up in New England, you find ways to hate the most random things. You just hate everything.
I believe I've settled on who I'm rooting for of the Final Four teams, and it's obviously Detroit. That poor city and those poor, hardworking, long-suffering human beings that have lived in that Democrat dystopian hellscape for the years and decades that they deserve something nice.
I lived in Detroit, and it is a wild city to live in, and I, too, am rooting for them. I mean, could you imagine if they got 2 championships in 1 year? That'd be so awesome.
Oh,
Harbaugh, yeah.
He's talking about Michigan?
Yeah, he's talking about Michigan.
Oh, that's I think his Lansing is so close. What's up, Hand? How's your day been?
It's been good. What's going on with you?
I feel like the Highlander.
Okay.
Although Ken Weaver kind of screws up my Highlander take, and I'm a little upset by that, but I felt like the Highlander because there can be only one, and I'm the only guy that made it in every single day throughout the course of the week of Snowpocalypse, and your Monday doesn't count.
It was pre-taken
I
off.
understand that it was
I didn't
pre-planned.
know snow was coming.
I
was sledding.
You were sledding.
I was sledding.
I'm just mad at you because I'm like, Chris Ann thinks he's sledding. He ain't sledding. He's working. And then He pre-planned a day off? That's no good.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
If Ken Weaver is here, I'm sure he would tell you, I just do the news, boys.
You think Ron DeSantis will come on with me today? He's got nothing else going on?
He did it before, right?
He has been on before.
Yeah.
We'll
You've
see.
had so many failed presidential candidates on your show. It's amazing.
I know.
Matt
That's
Murphy's
me.
up next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Where campaigns come to die.